I get it. These teams are locked in a battle of we're both underdogs, and neither team is willing to cede the ground.
Joker, though, is right in that they were dogs in Vegas in round 2. And now they're overwhelming favorites in the finals. But go ahead.
Who do you have?
I got Denver.
Big time?
And I'm 10 down on Denver.
Wow.
I'm 10 down on Denver. All right?
We're back.
And all that Broussard curse, I
any
can't
left?
wait till that dies.
You're like, you
That's
declared
about to
bankruptcy
die.
twice, and now
That's
you're
about
betting
to
10
die. It never should have been alive, because who did I pick last year? Oh, Golden State against Boston. I picked both of them, and Golden State won. But anyway, so I don't know how this Broussard is a figment of Nick's imagination.
You had the Suns Nets last year, but go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. Anyway, Denver will win.
Yeah, he's right.
All right, because number one, I got several reasons. Number one, the rest versus Russ stuff is hogwash. It's hogwash. Didn't you see this graphic yesterday? 8-1 in game 1 when you get 5 or more days rest heading into the finals, and you win the series 8 out of 9 times. So that's huge.
So no Russ.
In the Nuggets' favor. No Russ. Secondly, altitude is real. You were big on, you were huge on altitude in the second round. Every show it was Durant, Booker,
and I was right.
Collapse.
He's the only one that knew about it.
They need oxygen.
Guys, I checked the topography.
Right, like he was breaking news on here.
No, I just said I thought it was going to matter, and I was right.
Literally for
against old teams.
It does matter.
Yeah.
And here's the proof. Denver has a phenomenal home court advantage. In fact, Denver has we don't have it, the graphic. Denver has the best home court advantage in the league because of the altitude. All right?
Yes.
Check this out. They've got the 7th highest win percentage at home in the league history. You know, that since they've been in the league. 22nd best road record.
There
it is. This is the largest differential between the home and the road.
And to help that point, by the way, there are similar numbers for the Broncos, for the Avalanche, and the Rockies. It's probably more about how the baseball flies. But there is the discrepancy between home and road for all 4 major sports teams. Denver has the biggest advantage. That part is 100% true.
And the 2 days is not going to be enough. I know Miami tried. They flew right from Boston. That was smarter than, but it's not going to be enough. But beyond that, Denver's the better team. We'll get to this later. I don't think they've got an answer for Jokić.
Oh, no.
I
just want to, because you're the king of the altitude.
Oh, my God.
Part-time FS1, part-time
Don't
Weather Channel. But Spo doesn't care. Here's what Spo said about the altitude.
That'd be hard to play.
It would be very hard to play. So the idea is, so this stat that Josh pulled up is like, you know what? You can start off strong, even though LeBron said you feel it right away. But in the 4th quarter, Denver still got plenty of oxygen in their.
All right, so listen, unlike evidently, that side of the table, I'm not for the first time now just discovering the Denver altitude. I've been talking about it being an issue all postseason.
I've seen the Rockies.
And you, my friend, called it boring and said nobody cares about it.
We all know it. That's
okay,
all.
but we were seeing it play out. I do think, and I think Brew would agree with me, that it is more apt to affect Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, LeBron James because they're older players than younger guys. But I think Brew made a lot of really good points there. I think you made a good point with the Spo sound in the graphic. And, I've thought a lot about something Brew said yesterday because Brew had a cutting insult yesterday when he was like, all this jibber jabber from Nick, no basketball reasons. He just wants to have pixie dust.
You said
Didn't you say it yourself when you made your pick? You said, I have no idea why.
Guys, listen. The idea that the basketball gods do not look to smite.
That was
you got mad when I
listen. First of all, Wild's impression of me is him doing an impression of Josh from the internet who does impressions of me.
The idea.
And so, but let me.
I'm doing an impression.
So, first of all, this would be, per Vegas, one of the biggest upsets in modern finals history. If we go over the last handful that have happened in the last 20 years, none of them going into it did you have a bunch of obvious X's and O's reasons. That's why they were upsets. When the Cavs in 2016 were up against a 73-win team, the only basketball reason you can come up with is, if LeBron has one of the greatest series ever, and through 4 games he wasn't, and then at the end he was. 2011, when the Mavs were huge dogs to the Miami Heat, it was, well, I guess if someone gets hurt would be the only real rationale. And instead of getting hurt, LeBron melted down in that series, and that's how they won. In 2004, that Pistons team, it was a perfect storm of team ball coming together, totally unified, and a Lakers team that was sick of each other. And some injuries as well. If you remember, Karl Malone got hurt. They were starting Samaki Walker, I think. So for an upset, when there is this big of a Vegas upset, it is hard typically to find a lot of reasons like, oh, Vegas didn't see that. But I'll give you some that I know matter. The finals experience thing is a massive discrepancy, the likes of which we haven't seen in a finals in quite some time, in that Jimmy has been to a finals, Lowry's been to a finals, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero played with the Heat in the finals, as did Bam. Kevin Love's been to 4. This is his 5th.
How about Kevin Love and Lowry?
You won't buy Jimmy? You won't buy Bam?
I feel like this finals, with the media, with the travel, with all the other.
The bubble was I'm not trying to dispel the bubble, but
it's a unique
environment. Unique, but as far as if we win, we are the champions. If this game was played in an empty gym, there would still be more pressure. On the other hand, for the Nuggets, the only guy that's heavily in their rotation has been in the finals is KCP, and his was the bubble finals, which you guys are talking about, and then Jeff Green, who's basically their last man off, who plays off the bench. But he does play like 10 minutes a game in Western Conference Finals. He obviously played in 2018 Finals. That's the first one. How does that impact the open of the series? That, which is what we're talking about for tonight. Because if Denver in the game ones of these playoffs have won the games by halftime. They've been up huge at halftime in all 3 of those games. A large part of that's how the crowd has helped carry the team. How much is that going to be offset by obvious regular nerves that won't exist for games 2, 3, and 4 for these other guys?
Can I stop you there?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think part of the Heat's underdog story is when they go into Milwaukee, less with the Knicks, but when they go into Boston, that the home crowd starts to quiet down, and then the players start to tighten up and freak out, like, uh-oh, we're about to get Heat cultured.
And I do, and I'm going to, again, Wild's favorite topic of the rest versus rust. The context, Brews Graphics says 5+ days, which is noteworthy. This is the most time off between a conference finals and a finals for any team in 20 years. In the last 40 years, only one team has had more time off than this. The 0-2 Nets, who, they were overmatched, so they were going to lose. They lost game 1, they were going to lose series no matter what. So if there ever was a time where rust was going to come into play, it's when a team's been off for a week and a half, which almost never happens historically.
I'll say 2 things. This Heat team is reminding me a bit of 2 teams we saw. The Cavs in 07 with LeBron, where they shocked everybody, beat a great Detroit team, and then got to the finals. And people gave them a chance because of what they had done in the East, and they were just overmatched by the Spurs. And then the Knicks team in 99, the only other 8th seed to get to the finals. I was covering them.
Spree, Allen, Houston.
Spree, Allen, Houston, Marcus Camby, those guys. They had looked great in the East, got to the finals, were overmatched. And that's the first thing, and I think this Heat team is similar. Secondly, I will give you this, Nick. If the Heat win tonight and they've won the first game of every series, I'm not saying it'll change my pick, but that would be huge. It wouldn't just be huge because it's a big upset. It would be huge because Denver's undefeated at home, and the Heat have won every game in every series. I'm not hedging. I'm just saying it'd be
what
big
that
if they
sounded
won.
like? That sounded like 10 toes turning into 9.
I'm 10,
that's what it sounded like. Bro, you're out of toes.
I'm 10.
You're out of them, first of all. Can I say one other thing about the series?
Then I have one other thing,
and then we can move on.
I can't make
just
an
real
astute
quick
comment.
No, you can't.
Without my faith in the Nuggets being questioned?
Well, I mean, you can't say you're 10 toes down and then be like, but if the Heat win, all bets are off.
They're not winning. I'm just saying if they did, somehow, it's within the realm of possibility.
Okay.
That's all. So that makes me.
That makes way less than 10 toes down.
Just
go ahead,
this toe.
We can go to the next thing.
Oh.
I'll say my Spoelstra.
Spoelstra, the Heat haven't won since November 30th, 2016 in Denver. Yeah. So Spo talking about, it's no big deal. Like, okay, you're 4-11 all time in Denver.
Okay, but they're a different team in the playoffs than the regular season. We know that, and they obviously haven't played them in the playoffs. This and the year they went to the finals, they were the 5 seed. They were the 5 seed that year and made the finals.
Jimmy sat down with Malika Andrews to talk about his journey to Miami. Take a listen.
Well, I'm gonna keep saying this. Y'all belittle it like it means nothing. Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we agree.
Okay, that's number one. Y'all just basketball Hall of Fame doesn't mean it does mean something. All right.
Yes.
Secondly, and here's a new one. If Jimmy Butler wins this championship, leads the Heat, he will become one of the faces of the league.
Wow.
Has to be.
Now, right. Because, look, you obviously have LeBron and Steph, but they're older. All right? Butler's 33. He's getting up there, but they're old. They're much older. Jokić and Giannis, the 2 best players, don't really even want it, right? And they don't have that personality.
Well, Giannis does.
A little bit. But Giannis has said he doesn't want to be the face of the league. So they don't really want it. Then you got Embiid, Luka, Tatum, Devin Booker, KD. They're all coming off bad losses. Luka, heck, didn't even make the finals.
I think you meant the playoffs. A lot of guys didn't
even make the play-in, not the playoffs, the play-in.
There you go.
And then you got Ja and Zion for various reasons. So I think, but he's already got the commercials, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think he would become, at least for a year or two, one of the faces of the league.
All right, so I think that's all correct. I don't know why Luka deserved to drive by there, but that's fine.
They was on you.
That's
that
fine.
was your pick.
So, last 20 years, guys drafted in the last 20 years, LeBron's class to now. So this does not include Kobe and Duncan and Shaq, Dirk, those guys that played in the last 20 years. You came into the league from LeBron's draft class to right now. I did a little pyramid of the 10 best guys, okay? By my estimation, I think we can show it to you. I hope we can show it to you. And there it is. LeBron at the top, Steph and Durant. I think Jokić has now very clearly put himself on there. Guys not on the pyramid, for a little context: AD, Dwight, Dame, Carmelo, Embiid, Luka, Derrick Rose, who won an MVP. That's the pyramid as of now, to me. If Jimmy Butler wins this title, I think the pyramid looks like this. I think he replaces James Harden as one of the 10 best guys to come into the league in the last 20 years. And we can argue, should he replace Russ and Harden stay on there? I'm not really trying to do what.
It just opens up a.
What? Go ahead, Wild. Let it open.
Melo is not Melo.
Who on there? Was there anyone on there that you think Melo had a better career than?
Jimmy.
Well, that's what. Well, so
Melo and Jimmy Butler.
Well,
this is like a wild. I like
Melo
Jimmy
only
Butler.
won, 3 playoff series?
Jimmy would have won more playoff series this season.
Medals.
I tend to like Melo better than Jimmy Butler, too.
Me too, but what if they win the title?
Right.
If he's the best player on a finalist and then the best player on an 8 seed that beats Giannis, then Tatum, and then Jokić, like some of the, this is one of those things when they say all rings don't weigh the same. This would be a heavy ring. This would, and what it would mean. And so right now, I wouldn't have Jimmy ahead of Dwight Howard or Anthony Davis or Dame. But one title can change a lot of things. And I, like Brew, just glancing at that, I don't know if we can put it back on the screen of if the Heat win the title. Do you have an issue? Like, does that sound about right?
It's hard to argue. I mean, I think Dame is better than Butler. But if Butler leads this team to the championship, it's not bad. I definitely have, just quickly, Jokić would be ahead of CP3 for me, win or lose this championship.
Even if they don't win?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I think he's just, the dude does everything except defense. But, so yeah. Let me say this, too, about Jimmy Butler. Nick, we've talked about this. You have to go back, like, when was the last guy to have a supporting cast that was so, we'll just say, nondescript?
Unheralded.
Win a title. Like, you got Olajuwon back in '94.
I think that's it.
But Kenny Smith was a college All-American. Kenny Smith was a lottery pick. He was a 6th pick in the draft.
But what?
I mean, Sam Cassell was a first-round pick.
Kenny was so young.
But Ori was a lottery pick. Like, you did have more
Bam was a lottery pick, right?
Bam was a lottery pick.
But is Gabe Vincent good or not?
Well, they've played well. He's proven
That's what I'm
himself to be a good player.
Seems like a lot of the compliments we're giving Jimmy are low-key disses of the other guys. Like, the other guys are good.
Not being drafted does say something.
It typically
And
does.
being a number one pick, even if you're a bust, it talks about the level of talent.
Correct.
That
I think that's right.
At a certain
like
point.
Rasheed Wallace was such a high pick, even though he didn't become what people expected.
And certain things are circumstantial. Like Caleb Martin would not have been waived by any team in the league except for the one whose owner just doesn't know what he's doing. And so, like, that's, I mean, he was waived by the Hornets. I don't remember who their owner was at the time. But, I mean, the undrafted thing does mean something because it means the whole league, not just Michael Jordan, passed on you multiple times.
But we have to have an expiration date on that narrative. Duncan Robinson's got a huge, how much did he make it? $70 million contract.
5-year, 90.
We're not like Bill Belichick. Whoa, he took that undrafted Tom Brady. You know, there's a certain point.
Well, he was drafted.
Well, 199. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not in the first few rounds.
Look, I think it's expiring after this series. I mean, really. Like, you have to.
Because guys are going to get paid,
absolutely.
and guys are, it'll be a different story.
But it does, when we nitpick
when we
things,
talk about
and you
quality of rings,
up,
this would be a weighty ring, man.
I like that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.